In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where the dense forest breathes an ancient and haunting melody, my friends and I embarked on a camping trip like no other. The whispers of the trees and the secrets they held seemed to lure us into a mysterious realm, oblivious to the chilling tale that awaited us. It all began on a dreary autumn evening. The clouds hung low, shrouding the moon in an ominous veil, and the forest was swallowed by a thick mist that clung to the trees like ethereal fingers. Armed with our backpacks and camping gear, my friends, Jake, Sarah, and Alex, and I set out for an adventure into the heart of the wilderness, seeking solace from the demands of the mundane world. The trail meandered through the ancient woods, the darkness deepening with every step. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. We laughed and exchanged stories, our flashlights cutting through the encroaching darkness. Little did we know that the forest held its own narrative, a tale of shadows that whispered in the wind. Our campsite, nestled in a clearing surrounded by towering pines, felt like a haven at first. The soft patter of rain on the leaves overhead added to the serene ambiance, and we reveled in the thought of spending the night surrounded by nature's symphony. We pitched our tents, set up a crackling campfire, and huddled together for warmth. As the night wore on, the rain intensified, casting an eerie glow upon the forest. The trees seemed to come alive with the dance of shadows, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. We shared ghost stories, the flickering firelight casting grotesque shadows on our faces, adding a touch of macabre to the atmosphere. That's when things took an unexpected turn. As the clock struck midnight, the rain transformed into a relentless downpour, and the forest, once a source of comfort, became an impenetrable labyrinth. Our laughter faded into uneasy silence, and the crackling fire struggled against the onslaught of water. It was then that we realized our first mistake. We had failed to mark our trail. The once familiar path became an indistinct blur, and panic set in. The forest seemed to close in around us, its dark secrets mocking our feeble attempts to find our way back. The beams of our flashlights cut through the rain, but the dense foliage swallowed the feeble light, casting long, distorted shadows that seemed to watch our every move. Desperation hung in the air as we stumbled through the undergrowth, the wet leaves underfoot turning the forest floor into a treacherous maze. Fear gnawed at the edges of our sanity, and the once solid camaraderie dissolved into nervous glances and strained whispers. It was as if the forest itself had conspired against us, its unseen hands guiding us deeper into its enigmatic heart. Hours passed, and fatigue weighed on us like a leaden shroud. The rain showed no mercy, and the cold seeped through our soaked clothes, chilling us to the bone. We had become unwitting players in a nightmarish game orchestrated by forces beyond our understanding. As we stumbled through the darkness, a distant sound reached our ears, a haunting melody that seemed to echo through the trees. At first, we dismissed it as a trick of the wind, but the notes persisted, growing louder and more insistent. It was a mournful tune, a melody that whispered of forgotten sorrows and ancient regrets. Driven by a strange compulsion, we followed the haunting song, each step drawing us deeper into the heart of the forest. The air grew thick with tension, and the shadows morphed into grotesque figures that danced on the periphery of our vision. Unseen eyes watched us from the darkness, and a sense of foreboding settled over the group. The melody led us to a clearing, a space bathed in an unnatural glow that emanated from the center. In the midst of the clearing stood a gnarled tree, its twisted branches reaching towards the heavens like a skeletal hand. Suspended from the branches were ethereal orbs of light, their soft glow casting an otherworldly ambiance. As we approached the tree, the haunting melody swelled to a crescendo, and the orbs of light pulsated in unison. It was a mesmerizing spectacle, a dance of the supernatural that held us captive. The forest around us seemed to breathe, its ancient pulse synchronized with the unearthly rhythm. In that surreal moment, time lost its meaning. We were no longer lost souls in a dense forest. We were captives of an arcane force that defied comprehension. The haunting melody spoke a language understood only by the spirits that inhabited the shadows. As the last notes of the melody faded into the night, the forest released its grip on us. The orbs of light dimmed and the gnarled tree stood silent and still. We were left standing in the clearing, rain-soaked and bewildered, our minds struggling to grasp the surreal encounter. With a collective sense of urgency, we retraced our steps, guided by an invisible force that seemed to lift the veil of confusion. The forest, once a malevolent labyrinth, now yielded to our determination to escape its clutches. The rain persisted, but our spirits had weathered the storm. As the first light of dawn broke through the canopy, we stumbled upon the familiar trail, our footprints from the night before now visible in the muddy earth. The forest, once an impenetrable enigma, gradually receded behind us, its secrets concealed in the depths of the ancient trees. We emerged from the woods, battered and changed by the night's ordeal. The rain had ceased, and the world outside the forest seemed ordinary and mundane. We exchanged knowing glances, a silent acknowledgement of a shared experience that transcended the boundaries of reality. The haunting melody lingered in our minds, a spectral echo that would forever be etched in our memories. The dense forest had revealed its secrets, and we, mere mortals, had danced on the precipice of the unknown. As we left the Appalachian wilderness behind, the ancient trees stood as silent sentinels, their twisted branches whispering tales that only the bravest souls dared to hear.